Well, hello, my paranormal peeps. Welcome back to the Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the host of this podcast, along with my wife, Amanda. We also run Deep Woods Paranormal. We've been investigating the paranormal for close to 30 years now. And so we kind of just share our experiences on these podcasts. This is the cryptids only podcast, meaning that we're only going to talk about cryptids. We have 5 podcasts. We have the paranormal, anything goes as long as it's paranormal podcast that we do on Mondays. We have Ghost Stories with Amanda. We have the Cryptids Only podcast. We have the Bigfoot Only podcast. And what was the other one? We have another one. Anyways, so we have lots of different podcasts that we do. We have currently 4. I'm sorry, we have 4. That's right. We only have 4 right now. We're working on a 5th one. We're not sure what we're going to do. I'm thinking about doing urban legends only. And just because there's so many urban legends, you can just pick a state or pick an area and go through those urban legends and see what they say. So we can learn about them together. And then if they're interesting enough, maybe we'll get a chance to go out and check them out and investigate them and see if they're real or if they're just, hoaxed or whatever. Let me move this down just a bit. Okay. There we go. Oh, and yes, I am rocking the Bigfoot t-shirt and the cool glasses. I just got these glasses last night. All right, let's get into this. I only have a very short time. I've got to watch my time because I have to be out of here in about 25 minutes. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And okay, so we'll start here. I just want to thank everybody for your support by listening to our channel, by liking, subscribing, clicking that notification bell on our YouTube channel, and then also subscribing to whatever platform you're listening to us on. We're on about 60 different platforms. So I just want to let everybody know real quick, if you'll leave a message for us in those platforms, or be Apple or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, iHeartRadio, we don't always get your messages. So if you go to the link down below, you will be able to see I have my email there, I have my phone number there, our website's there, and also here's a way to support our channel as well. You can buy us a coffee. I've gone through this so many times, I'm not going to go over it too many more times, but that link's down below there if you want to donate to us and continue to help our cause. We appreciate it. Somebody bought us 5 coffees yesterday, so we're super appreciative of that. Our goal is to hit $2,000. The reason we're asking for financial help is we're trying to buy a professional video camera that we can then hire somebody to follow us around on these investigations, which will give you guys a different perspective, more of a professional look, and that's what we're trying to do. So anyways, let's get into the cryptids. All right. So I don't know if you've heard of El Chupacabra, but it's really big in Texas. I was actually just talking to someone the other day who said they had seen one, and it basically looked just as they described it. It was a dog-like creature, not a lot of fur, pronounced nose, and the body just looked different than any animal he had ever seen. So there's other theories about what El Chupacabra are, and I'm going to read through this. So it says El Chupacabra is a cryptid that is renowned for its attacks on livestock, hence the Spanish name goat sucker. It supposedly eats chickens, goats, and other farm animals and pets. It has been reported all over the Americas, specifically the southwestern United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico. There are 2 common types of. There's 2 common versions of the El Chupacabra. There's the reptilian kind, the true Chupacabra, that is canine kind, which is also called blue dogs. I've never heard them called that before. That's interesting. There have been more than 2,000 sightings of both types. When it sucks blood, it allegedly makes an odd noise. Okay. We'd love to talk to you if you've seen one. We'd love to have you on the podcast and talk about your experience. We can do a whole story on El Chupacabra. This is one of the creatures we have not gone out to research yet, but I was very interested here that this happened in Northeast Texas, believe it or not. That somebody saw one of the dog-like El Chupacabras. Excuse me as I take a quick drink. My mouth is a little dry today. Okay. So it says the first sighting was in 1995. The last sighting, I don't think this was right, but it says in 2013, it was in Puerto Rico, Mexico, southern United States, and Bagori. I can't pronounce that. Bagawai. Its habitats are remote deserts in southwest North America and jungles of Puerto Rico. So it says there's a possible large and increasing population of them. Okay. So let's kind of get into this real quick. I'll just cover this first paragraph, and then I got to get on to the next one because I am running out of time. Their first known attacks were in March 1995 in Puerto Rico. 8 sheep were discovered dead, each completely drained of blood. Investigators found 3 strange puncture wounds in the chest of the animal. Despite the odd circumstances, authorities could only attribute the killings to a known predator, a fox, perhaps. Others have recognized the similarities in the deaths to eggmatic cattle mutilations, which had been taking place in America's Southwest with increasing regularity. It says the first woman who sighted the monster, who had an eyewitness description that was the basis of the first famous drawing of the chupacabras in the world. So essentially, she saw what she thought was this lizard-like thing. This is what she described it as. I think since, unfortunately, her story has been discredited a little bit. So let me just click on here. This is just different pictures and stuff. Let's take a look at this. If you're watching on the podcast, this looks like some kind of a 3 or 4 foot tall lizard, basically standing on its hind legs. It has all kinds of spikes going down its back like an iguana. It looks like it has more like has three paws on the 3 toes on the paws on the feet, and then the claws look like they have 3 or 4 claws. And supposedly they have these big green eyes, these big black eyes, small noses, small mouths, kind of like an alien. It looks like a cross between a gray alien and a lizard, like an iguana, to be honest with you. All right, so let's move on. Here's another picture of one. This is more terrifying. The eyes are red, scary looking. That's interesting. Look at the feet on that thing. Okay, so not to change the subject, but up at Joe's camp, we found footprints that look very similar to this drawing or this rendering of an El Chupacabra. It had really long, almost like had 3 long toes, and then a long skinny piece in the middle, and then like a long drawn out part in the back. This looks very similar to what this footprint would be like, but this footprint was 18 inches long, and there were several of them. I actually documented them, so that's interesting. I wonder if they actually these things get a lot bigger than what they say. All right, so let's start through here. Again, just more renderings of what it could look like. And again, you guys got to take all this with a grain of salt. So this is what the dog like chupacabra looks like. It says it has saber teeth, bat-like ears, nearly furless body. The ribs are showing. It has long legs, flexible hips, long skinny tail, and it says the male's only long bristles on fur on shoulders. So it basically has some longer cackles in the back. All right. And here's a picture of possibly one. This is very close to what that guy described. He saw, I guess somebody got one on a camera. This one's killing birds. Here's more fanatical ones that are just. All right, we got to move on, guys. I apologize. Here's another picture of what they look like. So it is some kind of creature. From what I understand, it's a mix between a coyote and a wolf, and stuff like that. Okay, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this one either. This is called a black demon. Now, this is some kind of shark that lives down in the Baja California Peninsula, and I'll get into this. It says the black demon shark is an enormous black shark whose territory is said to be just off the coast of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula. In recent years, numerous sightings have been reported, primarily from local fishermen. The black demon is said to be between 20 and 60 feet long and weighing anywhere between 50 and 100,000 pounds. It is said to resemble a great white shark, but with dark coloration and a large tail. Some say it could be the megalodon or a new species of shark, or perhaps an unusual great white shark. Many expeditions were launched to locate the creature, even on Monster Quest. In the chapter Mega Jaws, nothing became of the investigation. Sadly, sightings are rare because of this. Not much is known about it. Okay, so yeah, essentially that's pretty much everything on that. I'm not going to keep going into this because I got to get off here. I've got 10 more minutes before I have to get off this podcast. Okay. Beast of Bray Road. This is a fan favorite. Everybody loves this story. Another dogman possible creature or maybe something else. Let me read this to you. The Beast of Bray Road is a hairy humanoid with canine features that was sighted near the towns of Devion and Elkhorn in Wisconsin, mainly during the 1990s. It was labeled as a werewolf in local folklore. However, most cryptozoologists have labeled it as a Bigfoot in order to avoid dealing with the scientific obscurities involved with the werewolf. However, some people think that it's a canine, cryptid canine instead. Some researchers consider the Beast of Bray Road to be identical to the kind of Wisconsin Bigfoot named the Bluff Monster or Eddie. Other names have been implied. The Beast of Bray Road include the bear wolf and indigenous dogman. The Beast of Bray Road counts as the most famous of modern American werewolves. It has been in the media regularly since the first sighting was publicized, and even has a low-budget movie based on its legend. Because of the numerous witnesses who have claimed to see this creature, the evidence supporting the Beast of Bray Road is far greater than the evidence supporting almost any other werewolf legend. Cryptozoologists, of course, do not generally take shapeshifters seriously unless they are fringe cryptozoologists who hold more of the paranormal view on things. That's kind of us. I'm still iffy on the whole shapeshifter thing, but again, I've never seen one, and it goes back to my saying, you have to see it. It has to be, you have to be able to have a sighting where you can say it couldn't be anything else but, and that's where I'm all at with this. So you guys can make up your own mind on this guy, but it's a very famous story. This thing seems to always be seen in or near this road. A lot of the times I've gone into this in detail in another podcast, but it seems to grab roadkill off the road. Sometimes it'll eat it in the middle of the road as passerbyers will stop to see what's going on. They realize what it is and take off. Other times, and sometimes it'll jump on their hood or do other things, scratch their cars, and other times it'll just turn and run with the prey. So anyways, that's the Beast of Bray Road. If you want to hear more about it, you can go back and listen to our podcast on it. We actually did an actual podcast on it. All right. So a friend of mine said he wants to hear about the Fresno Nightcrawlers. So this says the Fresno Nightcrawlers, also known as Fresno Alien, is a cryptid that has made 2 appearances so far, one in Fresno, California, and the other in Yosemite National Park in California. In both sightings, it's only seen in video footage. However, a man in Poland has also claimed to see this creature. I'll go down to the bottom here. Okay, bear with me for a second. All right, so this is a Carmel area creature. The witness, a 60-year-old former Marine, yet to be named, and his wife were driving near Carmel on December 12th, 2014, when they came over hill and saw a 7-foot tall, slender gray creature, which is known as the Carmel area creature. Interesting. Okay. So let's go down to the night crawlers. The creature has also been spotted in Yosemite, where footage was again taken from what appears to be another security camera. This time there are 2 creatures, one being very small, less than 0.5 meters, which means, let's see, meters are about 3 feet, so it's about 1.5 feet. And the feet of the creatures can also be clearly seen, as well as what appears to be on some sort of webbing connected to the knees to the upper body, or at least on the larger one. The cryptid has also been videotaped in Poland, this time from what appears to be a handheld camera, judging from the shakiness of the footage. The creature cannot be seen for too long, but appears to have similar traits to the larger one taped on Yosemite. So explanations: it's an alien or extraterrestrial being, a new species, a primate with very short arms, misidentified deer standing upright. It says plants or puppet on wire, pants or puppet on wire, excuse me, a bird walking like a crane, a person wearing big pants and walking on stilts. So we'll get into this more detailed. I want to look at this. So if you're watching on here on the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see this. This is the original video. I'll blow this up. I'm not gonna be able to watch this whole thing. Okay, so this video is. So let me explain this. It's very grainy, and the reason is because the person caught this on the DVR camera. For some reason, it didn't really record. He actually just recorded with a video camera the screen of the DVR camera. And so that's why this looks so grainy. But you can see it starting to walk across from left to right. It literally walks across his yard and disappears. All right, so let's go to the next one because I really want to see. Here's the next one. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, wow. Okay. So this appears to be at night. So there's a couple of them on here. So you can see him walking left to right across the screen. The one does look to be much taller than the other one. Then, of course, they walk off screen. Okay. Let's go to maybe the next one. So this might be a better one.
Video was recorded, it was said, onto VHS videotape. This to me
Okay,
would
we're gonna
a
move
very
on.
old system. It all
I want to actually see the footage. I don't want to hear somebody sit there and talk about it. I was looking for the video of the one in Yosemite National Forest, but I just don't see it in here. You know what we'll do is we'll do a whole podcast maybe on this guy. It's kind of an interesting story. Is it real? Is it a hoax? Is it just somebody playing tricks? I have no idea. I've been fascinated with this since I first saw the video. Um, and people tried to debunk it, could debunk it. And so, anyways, all right, let's move on to the next one. All right. And let's talk about Champ. You know, I love my river monsters or my lake monsters. I've done a big thing on Nessie before. But Champ, he's here in the US. One of these days, I want to go to this area and see if we can find him. Okay, so it says Champ, Champy, or Champ. Champy, it's spelled just two different ways, is the name given to a reputed lake monster living in Lake Champlain. The lake is a natural freshwater lake in the North American and partially situated across the U.S.-Canada border in the Canadian province of Quebec, across from Vermont, New York border. While there's no scientific evidence for the cryptid's existence, there have been over 300 reported sightings. The legend of the monster is considered to draw tourism to Vermont and the New York areas. Like the Loch Ness monster, most regard Champ as a legend. Others have specified that it's possibly such a creature does live in the deep lake. It's possible is a possibility it's a relative of the plesiosaur, which is an old dinosaur. Essentially looked kind of like a whale, but had, instead of having the mouth in the front, had a long head, a long neck, and then a head out in front, and then flippers. And then sometimes I think they either had a tail or they didn't have a tail. Okay, so Lake Champlain is a 125-mile long fresh body of water that is shared by New York and Vermont and is just a few miles into Quebec of Canada. The Champ legend became a reviewed became an attraction. For example, blah blah blah. Okay, bear with me. I'm just reading through this. Champ became more prominent after the team was renamed. Okay, so they're talking about them naming Champ after a team. So there was a photograph taken in 1977. An amateur photographer released a photograph that appeared to show a plesiosaurus-like body and neck sticking out of the lake. They later shared the photo, which is similar to the famous surgeon's photo of Loch Ness monster. The entire bay of where the lake where the photograph was reportedly taken was no deeper than 14 feet. According to Joel Nickel, there are a few explanations for how a giant creature could swim, let alone hide in such shallow water. Furthermore, it's been suggested that the object in the photograph could possibly be a rising tree trunk or a log. Rotted trees often gather gas in the process of decaying and sometimes rise to the water surface. Okay. So looks like there was a recent report in 2005. Again, I think these two, I am going to do I'm going to do a whole podcast on. So this is kind of what people have seen. If you're looking at this, you'll see what looks like a snake-like creature swimming along. There's the actual picture of it. I'm sorry, I can't blow this up for some reason, but you do see a hump, and that looks like a neck sticking out and a head. It looks a lot like a dinosaur to me. And then another possible one at night. This is what they think it looks like. So this is it blown up. and this shows an actual plesiosaurus underneath the picture of that. And they do look very similar. Now, I can't say that isn't a log. It's very grainy. Again, you guys have to take this all with a grain of salt. And a lot of people have done renderings of it. A gremlin. How funny. I was hoping to get a video of it so you guys could see this. Anyways, I will post the links down below, and you guys can go check these out for yourself and see what you think. Are they real? Are they fake? Who knows? I believe there's the possibility that things still exist. I believe there's a lot of creatures out there that man doesn't know yet, or does know and they don't tell us about. Let's put it that way. A lot of these things have kind of retreated into areas where man doesn't really go that much anymore or at all, to try and avoid us and try and live their lives without being, in fear of us. So anyways, guys, I have to go. This is unfortunately a little bit of a shorter podcast for you. Next time I'll probably cover a few more creatures, and I will go back into depth on the Nightcrawler and the lake monster. So, all right, Champ, you guys have a good one, and we will catch you on the next one.